The murder of a king is never an easy topic to discuss. But when it comes to the untimely demise of King Edward II, there's a lot more to the story than meets the eye. What if I told you that the king was brutally murdered inside the very castle that was supposed to be his sanctuary? Join us as we explore the chilling tale of how King Edward II met his demise within the four walls of Berkeley Castle. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button for more videos. Also stick around until the end to learn about a royal pig assassination. Don't want to miss it. In the heart of England's picturesque countryside lies Berkeley Castle, a medieval fortress that has stood the test of time. But behind its imposing facade lies a dark secret. A secret that came to light in the 13th century when King Edward II was brutally murdered within its walls. The year was 1327, and the atmosphere in Berkeley Castle was thick with tension. King Edward II had been a controversial figure throughout his reign, known for his extravagant spending and for favoring his Italian-born lover, Piers Gaveston, over his own subjects. This had created a deep rift between the king and his son, Edward III, who was only 14 years old at the time. As the situation grew increasingly volatile, Queen Isabella decided to take matters into her own hands. With the help of Roger Mortimer, she raised an army and marched on Berkeley Castle with the intention of deposing her husband and installing their young son on the throne. When they arrived at the castle, King Edward II refused to surrender, believing that he had the right to rule. However, after a siege of only 6 weeks, the castle fell and the king was forced to submit. But this was just the beginning of the nightmare for King Edward II. He was stripped of his crown and dignity and taken to the nearby town of Gloucester, where he was imprisoned in a local abbey. Here, the once powerful monarch was subjected to a humiliating display of power as his wife, and son paraded through the streets on horseback, while he was forced to walk alongside them on foot. It was a clear message of their dominance and a public humiliation that would forever tarnish the king's reputation. But the true horror was yet to come. On September 21st, 1327, King Edward II was led from his cell in the abbey to a room above the gatehouse where his 2 assassins awaited him. One of the men was Roger Mortimer, the very man who had orchestrated the downfall of the king and his family. The other was Thomas Cavendish, a knight who had been tasked with carrying out the dirty work. They entered the room with a grim determination, ready to carry out their evil deed. King Edward II must have felt a sense of dread and fear as he realized the gravity of the situation. His life was about to end, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. Mortimer wasted no time. He drew his dagger and plunged it into the king's chest, delivering a fatal blow that ended his life almost instantly. Cavendish then dealt a second strike to ensure that the king was dead. With the deed done, Mortimer and Cavendish fled, leaving the lifeless body of King Edward II lying on the floor. The king's head was cut off and hung from the nearby bridge as a warning to any would-be usurpers. His body was thrown into a nearby river and eventually washed up on the shores of Essex. It was later buried in a church, where it remains to this day. The murder of King Edward II was a pivotal moment in English history. It marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter under the rule of Edward III. But it also raised questions about the morality and ethics of those who carried out the deed. Roger Mortimer, the mastermind behind the king's murder, was executed in 1330 on the orders of Edward III. But his name has since been cleared by historians who argued that he was simply a victim of circumstance. Thomas Cavendish, the knight who delivered the fatal blow, was pardoned by Edward III and lived out the remainder of his life as a free man. Berkeley Castle, the scene of the crime, still stands today, a testament to the brutal past that unfolded within its walls. Visitors can explore the castle and learn about the fascinating history, including the grisly details of the king's murder. But before you go, here's a question for you. Do you think that King Edward II had it coming? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And now for the royal pig assassination. During the English Civil War, a pig belonging to King Charles I was shot and killed by a member of Parliament. The pig had been tethered outside the Parliament building as a symbol of the king. As extravagance and the growing tensions between the two sides, the assassination of the pig became a symbolic event in the conflict and was commemorated in a painting by the Dutch Golden Age painter Rembrandt. That's a tale you won't hear anywhere else. Thanks for joining us on this journey through time. Remember, if If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to stay informed about our latest videos.